Jesus loves people by being a friend to them. Now, we all know that Jesus is a friend of sinners, but how many of us really know that Jesus is also a friend of saints? He wants to be a great friend to you in ways that you had never imagined. We looked last time at Jesus including the disciples. We read in John chapter 1 how he invited them to be part of his life. And the process carries on in John chapter 2. I want to read the first couple of verses to us. It says, "On the third day there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus was also invited to the wedding with his disciples." So Jesus wasn't the main guest at the wedding. He wasn't part of the bridal party, but he was invited with his disciples. And we've read of 5 of them so far. There was John and Andrew, and Philip and Peter and Nathaniel. And it was probably these 5 and maybe some more as well, we don't know, who were part of Jesus' crowd of friends going to this wedding. And this is a delightful story. It's a fun story about Jesus building a friendship with this early group of his disciples. Now, friendship is all about fun. We've made it about so many other things. Christian world has managed to politicize friendship. We've made friendship about recruiting people. We have this strange thing called friendship evangelism, where we pretend to like someone in order to recruit them. We have reforming friendship, where we want to change someone, to mold them into our image. And we have rescuing friendship, where we want to pull people out of their hole. But fundamentally, friendship is none of those things, but it is all about fun. I have many different kinds of friends. I have some friends who are great for one thing and others who are great for another. There's some friends I would never go to for financial advice. If I'm in deep trouble, there are friends I would go to and other friends that I wouldn't, but they're still all my friends. And the common denominator, the common ingredient of friendship is these are people that I enjoy being with. It's fun to be with them. So Jesus takes his early bunch of friends, his disciples, to this wedding, and they have a fun time together because the wine runs out. And in my mind's eye, as I read this passage, I see Jesus turning to his disciples and saying, "Guys, we're going to have some fun here this afternoon." We can read this miracle of the water being turned into wine, and we can spiritualize it, and we can draw all sorts of lessons out of it. But we must never miss the simple fact of what fun this story is. And the fun story starts with Jesus and Mary, because Mary's the one who tells him the wine has run out. And why does she tell Jesus that? Well, the only way is that she knows that he can do something about it. And how does Mary know that he can do something about it? Well, he's probably had a go turning water into wine at home before. So she comes to him and says, "Jesus, my son, they've run out of wine. Why don't you do that water into wine thing that you do?" And Jesus has fun with Mary, and he looks at her deadpan and says, "Mother, I don't know what you're talking about." And of course, Mary doesn't take him seriously because she tells the servants who are standing there, "Just do whatever he tells you to do." And Jesus takes these 6 stone jars filled with water and he turns them into wine. And it really is the most absurd miracle. It really is the most ridiculous one. It says at the end of the chapter, this was the first of the signs that he performed. But think about it. Here is these 6 stone jars filled with water. That equates to about 800 bottles of wine. That's an awful lot of wine, especially for a wedding party that has already drunk freely. So they're probably a little bit over the top anyway. It had no long-term benefits. No cripples were healed. No blind eyes were open. The only long-term effects was maybe the next day when a few people had some headaches. So it was possibly even an irresponsible kind of miracle. But it says at the end of the story, this was the first of Jesus' signs that he performed. Here is the Son of God come to earth, inaugurating his earthly ministry with a demonstration that heaven is arriving on earth by turning water into wine. And it goes on and says, and so he manifests his glory. This is the glory of the heavenly winemaker in our midst. It really, really was a fun story. And who knew that a miracle had taken place? Well, Mary clearly did. The steward clearly didn't. Probably the bridal party had no clue what had gone on. They just had some more wine available. But the disciples were there. They were the ones that witnessed this sign. They were on the inside of the story. They were having the fun with Jesus. They were watching people's reactions and laughing with Jesus because nobody knew what had taken place. So Jesus starts off this process of building friendship with his disciples by having this amazing fun. You know, friendship enlarges us. Friendship takes us out of our comfort zone. We all have this area of our life that we live in where we are comfortable. It's where we'd probably stay if we were never pushed beyond it. And on the other side, we have this terror zone where we definitely don't want to be, and Jesus doesn't want to take us there. He keeps saying to his disciples, fear not. But a good friend will be able to take us out of our comfort zone without exposing us to our terror zone. I think so many of the miracles were about Jesus doing exactly that for the disciples. So we have the storm on the lake. Did Jesus know there was going to be a storm before they set out? I'm pretty sure he did. And when it says he was asleep in the stern of the boat, was he really asleep? Or maybe he was just lying back pretending to be asleep, but with one eye open, keeping a watch on the disciples to see how are they coping, until they wake him up and he does what he knew he was going to do all along, which is to calm the storm. He's taken them out of their comfort zone in order to see heaven come to earth, what that looks like. The feeding of the 5,000. Again, he takes them out of their comfort zone. He says, let's give them something to eat. And immediately they are stressed. How can we do this? We've got no food. We don't have money, etc., etc. But he leads them through a process of engaging in the miraculous in order to see 5,000 people fed. And again, who knew that there was a miracle there? Probably not the 5,000, but the disciples did. They were on the inside with Jesus. They were building friendship with him through the fun that they were having together. Peter, are we going to pay the temple tax? Peter is stressed. He's outside of his comfort zone. What's the solution? Go catch a fish. It's an unusual answer. It's a fun answer. It's a friendship building answer. Here is a little film clip. This is about me being outside of my comfort zone, way outside of my comfort zone, not yet in my terror zone, but approaching that. So how did I get out of my comfort zone? Well, the person who has been my best friend for over 40 years, my wife, dragged me into doing this. So have a look and see what you think. So here I am about 2,000 feet above Queenstown in New Zealand. I'm in a tandem paraglider, and right at the moment we are looking for a thermal in order to gain us some height. And once he finds a thermal, oh, isn't it beautiful up here? Once he finds a thermal, we're going to swing round and round in that and spiral corkscrew up. There we are, I think we've got it. Yes, we're beginning to go round, and round we go. And this is amazing, we're gaining some height. The only problem is my lunch is feeling a little bit insecure at this stage. And I'm about to bring it up. Woo! About to bring it up all over the unsuspecting people down below me. Just keep a grip on it, Richard. Just hold it in there. You can do it. You can do it. Friendship will also take us outside of our dignity zone. We have areas, things we feel comfortable in that is not beyond our dignity to do. We can fulfill those tasks with a certain accomplishment. Friendship will take us beyond that. It won't take us into the shame zone, into the humiliation zone where we look total fools. but it will drag us out of our dignity zone. So David, you remember bringing the Ark of the Covenant up to Jerusalem. It says he danced before the Ark. He stripped off his clothes and danced naked before Israel. He was so excited, so caught up in the praise and the worship and the glory of the moment. And his wife, Michal, comes to him and she accuses him of being shameless. But David says to her, no, I am not shameless. I wasn't in that space of humiliation. But yes, I was undignified, and I will be yet more undignified than this. That was what friendship with God brought him into. That's the space that he walked in. So here's another little film clip. This is of me getting out of my dignity zone. I think we're playing a game of animal charades, and if you can guess what animal I'm pretending to be here, you get a bonus point.
That's good. That's good.
Friendship also makes us whole. We said that friendship was not about rescuing people, and if we set about building friendships in order to rescue people, we miss the point. But along the way, while we are being fun people to be with, friendship will make us whole. While we are in the company of others who are fun to be with, friendship will make us whole. And we need this so desperately at the moment. COVID has driven us all into survival mode. We are in physical survival mode. Will my body survive this pandemic? How can I protect myself? How can I keep myself safe? How can I keep my family safe? We are in financial, economic survival mode. Will I lose my job? Will my business survive this huge economic blow that has hit us? Will I be able to carry on paying my mortgage? Will I be able to pay the school fees? How is this going to work out? And we're in emotional survival mode. I am depressed. I'm anxious. I am locked in emotionally. How am I going to keep myself mentally healthy through this process? And against this survival mode that we are all in, what we need is actually fun mode that is brought to us through friendship. We need people who can drag us out of that survival mode, because survival mode and fun mode do not coexist in the same space. We need Jesus to be our friend, to say, come, let me draw you out of yourself. Let me enlarge you. Let me bring you into a space of having a little bit of fun here, because you need it. I need it. We all need it. The world needs it at this moment. So I want to have a daily expectation of Jesus pushing into my life to be my friend. I want to wake up with a daily expectation of being enlarged by him. His desire is for you. His desire is for every single one of you, to draw you out of yourself every day. He desires a friendship with you, not because you are sinners, but because you are saints, because he wants to be alongside you. He wants to take you into the miraculous. He wants to astound you by showing you heaven come to earth. He wants to enlarge the space that you're in. And as we allow Jesus to be a friend to us, as we allow him to enlarge us, so we are equipped to be a friend to other people. We can draw others into friendship. We can love them like Jesus by doing that. In order to do that, we need to know them pretty well, because we've got to know where their comfort zone ends. We've got to know where their terror zone begins, and we've got to not get confused about that. But once we know them well enough, we can pull them out of their comfort zone. We can enlarge them beyond their dignity zone, and we can make them bigger, more whole people by being friends to them. I trust that this has been helpful. I trust that you're encouraged. I trust that you have friendship moments with Jesus in a whole new way. I want to pray that for you, a journey of discovering friendship with Jesus on a new level. If you've enjoyed this video, please Please like it, please subscribe to the channel, please share it. And if you want to be part of supporting these videos, you can go to our website, richardlawton.org, and there is a space there, there's facility there for you to make financial contribution. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you next time.